Hello learners, welcome back to the course on construction methodology. In this lecture, we'll try to understand what is one-way slab and what is two-way slab. We'll also try to understand how those one-way slab and two-way slab are practically put up. So we'll quickly get into the lecture and we'll try to understand them. Yeah, so basically we have one-way slab and two-way slab. So we'll try to understand them. So what is one-way slab? Yeah. So a one-way slab is a one. Here the slab bends in only one direction. Hence it is called as one-way slab. So we'll try to see this. See, this is a support what I have, right? This is my one support and this is my second support. The one which is yellow in color. Now the slab is bending only in this direction, right? You can see it. The slab is bending only in this direction. That is why we call this as one-way slab. Whereas on the other side, that is on this side, there is no bending because this support is stopping it from bending. Whereas only on this span, there is a bending. So that is why we call this as a one-way slab. Next, we'll try to see what is a two-way slab. So a two-way slab is a one. Here the slab bends in both the direction. Hence we call it as two-way slab. So this is how a two-way slab looks. So a two-way slab, look at here. We have 1, 2, 3 and 4 support here. So what is happening? The slab is bending in this direction as well as in this direction, right? Whereas on the one-way slab, it was bending only in this direction. You cannot say any bending on this direction. Whereas in a two-way slab, the bending is happening in this direction as well as the bending is happening on the other direction. Let us consider this as x direction. So bending is happening in x direction as well as, and let us consider this as a y direction, and also the bending is happening on the y direction. So this is a very basic difference between what is one-way slab and what is two-way slab. We'll try to understand this in a more better way. Yeah. So we'll try to see what is one-way slab. So there are two cases of a slab where a one-way slab satisfies these conditions. So we have to concentrate on those conditions. The first one is that if a slab is supported on two opposite edges, the edges can be a beam or a brick wall. Okay, then it is called as a one-way slab. So you can see it here. There's a brick wall here, and there's a brick wall here, and over this I have supported this slab. So this slab is going to bend in this way, right? Whereas on this side there's no bending because this brickwork is stopping it from bending. That is why we call this as a one-way slab. So again, it's the same thing here what we saw in the previous slide. Again, this two support here, the bending is happening in this direction. So that is why we call this as a one-way slab. So it is called as one-way slab because here the bending will occur only in one direction, and the bending can be on the shorter span or on the longer span. So this is very important for us to understand. So here in a one-way slab, the bending can be on the shorter span or also on the longer span. Let us consider Lx is a shorter span and Ly is a longer span. So what is happening? I'll make use of a pointer here. Yeah. So Lx is a shorter span. Let me say this is a shorter span, and while Ly is a longer span. So in this case, what is happening? The bending is happening only in Lx direction, whereas my Lx is my shorter span. Let us say Lx is my shorter span. Now let us consider this particular slab, and I'll consider this as a shorter span now. This is my shorter span, which is denoted as Lx. Okay, and this is my longer span, and this is my longer span, and I'll consider my longer span as Ly. This is my Ly. So in this case, what is happening? The slab is bending in this direction, right? The slab is bending. Here the slab is bending in this direction. So even the bending is in only one direction. You don't have any bending on the other side. But this time the slab is bending in the longer direction. That is Ly is a longer direction and Lx is a shorter direction. So this time in this particular case, the slab is bending in the longer direction. Whereas in this particular case, Lx is a shorter span and Ly is a longer span. But the slab was bending in this direction and this direction is a shorter direction. That is why it is written here the bending, yeah, it is written here the bending can be on the shorter span or on the longer span, especially in the case of the one-way slab. So we'll try to go ahead. So that is a case number one. Now we'll try to see what is case number two. So if let us say if a slab is supported on all four edges, in the previous case one, it was supported on only two edges. If the slab is supported on only two edges, then it is always a one-way slab. Now the case 2 says that if a slab is supported on all four edges, that is if all the four sides are made up of are beams, and if Ly by Lx ratio, Ly stand for length in the longer direction and Lx stand for the length of the span in the shorter direction, and if the ratio of the longer span by the shorter span ratio is greater than 2, then it is called as a one-way slab. Then also it is called as a one-way slab. And we have to remember one thing, here the bending will happen only on the shorter span. We'll try to understand this. If a slab is supported on all four edges, if all the four side is made up of beam, and over that I'm keeping my slab, and if Ly by Lx ratio is greater than 2, then we call this as a one-way slab itself. And here the bending will happen only on the shorter span, whereas in the case 1 the bending used to happen either on the shorter span or on the longer span, since it was supported on only two edges. But if a slab is supported on four edges, and if Ly by Lx ratio is greater than 2, then it is always a one-way slab. And the second thing that we need to understand is that here the bending will happen only on the shorter span. So this is how it looks. So let us consider this as a slab. The blue color is a slab, and these are the supporting beams for that. Let us say these are the edge, these are the beam. Okay, and let us say the length of this slab is Lx, that is 2 meter, and the length of this particular slab on this side and the Ly it is 6 meter. So according to my formula, if Ly by Lx, if it is greater than 2, then we call it as a one-way slab. We'll try to see this. So let us say this is beam 1, the one which is orange color, and let us say this is my beam 2, and let us say this is my beam 3, and let us say this is my beam 4. That is why it is written, if a slab is supported on all the four edges, right, this particular slab is supported on all four edges, and if Ly by Lx ratio is greater than 2, then we call this as a one-way slab. Now Ly is a longer direction span, right? 6 meter is a longer direction, that is why it is written as Ly, and Lx is a shorter direction, so that is why it is written as 2 meter. Always Ly stand for the longer direction span and Lx stand for the shorter direction span. Now applying this particular formula here, Ly by Lx is equal to, Ly is longer direction span, which is 6 meter. I'm writing 6 meter here, and Lx is 2 meter. That is why I can see 2 meter here. So if I'm dividing 6 by 2, I'm going to get an answer of 3. And we know that 3 is greater than 2. And according to our this understanding, if it is greater than 2, then it is called as one-way slab. So hence the slab is one-way slab, and the bending will happen only in the shorter direction. So what I'm trying to tell is, I'll make use of a pointer here. Yeah, so in this case the bending will happen in this direction. Yeah, if you're able to understand, the bending will happen in this direction. The bending will happen only in this direction. The bending will happen only in this direction, whereas on the longer side there is no bending. This bending will not happen. This bending will not happen. I mean, a small bending might yeah, a bending something like this may happen, but that bending is very less. So this is a kind of bending that happens. So the major bending that happens is only on the shorter span. That is why I have shown the bending here, whereas on the longer span this bending won't happen. A slight bending may happen, but we don't consider that bending, since that bending is very small. We don't consider that bending. Yeah, uh, pointer. Yeah, so on this yeah, so here what happens, a slight bending will happen, only this much amount of bending will happen, whereas the middle entire portion will be straight. Again a small bending will happen. So this is a kind of bending that happens on the y direction, whereas on the shorter span, that is Lx is a shorter span, here this is a kind of a bending that is going to happen. So it's going to bend completely like this. So you're going to bend in this way, so it's going to bend in this fashion. So this is what happens in a one-way slab when it is supported on all four edges. So we'll try to understand this in a more better way. Yeah, let us say this is my two support. Okay, these two support may be of a brickwork, or let us say these two are the beam. So, and this is my slab here, and this is my slab here. I'm resting my slab on this particular support. Now what you can observe, yeah, I'll try to keep it apart. Yeah, so what you can observe here, the bending is happening here, right? So bending is happening in this direction. You can see the bending, right? So whereas there is no bending on this side. On this side you don't have bending. Like let's say this is what I'm having a slab. Okay, and this is my, yeah, this is my longer direction and this is my shorter direction. So this time I'm keeping my longer direction in this way. So as a result of that, what is happening? This slab is bending in this way, right? So this slab is bending in this way. So since the slab is bending in this direction, I need to stop that bending. That is why what I'm going to do, I'm going to place my reinforcement parallel to this bending. That is why what I'm going to do, I'm going to place my reinforcement parallel to this direction. If I'm going to place my reinforcement parallel to this direction, what will happen? This bending is not going to happen, right? So that is why what I'm going to do, I'm going to place my reinforcement parallel into this direction, right? So once I keep this parallel, so what will happen? I'll try to take it up. So as a result of that, my when the load comes on this particular slab, this bending, what you can see, this will not happen because this reinforcement which are parallel, they're going to stop that bending. So this is on the this direction I have placed my reinforcement. At the same time, we have to always remember we provide a distribution bar. So these are the distribution bar which I provide in this direction. I'm going to provide the distribution bar in this direction. So I'm going to provide a distribution bar in this direction. So these are my distribution bar. So the bar which I have placed here, the first bar, always remember wherever there is a bending in that direction, along that direction, we are going to place the bar. So this bar, what I placed in the beginning, right? The one which you can see here, this bar, they are always placed parallel to the bending, and these are the main bars, and these are the main bars, and these are the bars which are going to carry the load. Whereas these bars, what you can see, these bars are called distribution bar. They don't carry any load, but the thing is that they are given from temperature point of view, they are given from shrinkage point of view. So this distribution bar are not going to take any load. They are given from temperature point of view, and also in order to avoid the shrinkage and to reduce the crack, we give this reinforcement. These are called as distribution reinforcement. Whereas this bar, what we are given, the bottom one, what you can see, they are the main bars, and they are the one which will stop the bending of this. This is how your slab is going to bend. So when you provide this bar parallel, I mean, yeah, along that direction, so what will happen? They will not allow your slab to bend in this direction, right? So I hope it's understood up to here. So after this, so far what I did, I placed my slab in along the longer direction, right? So this was my longer direction and this was my shorter direction. So the bending was happening along the longer direction. Now that is why I've drawn it in this way, right? You can see the bar, the red mark, they are placed here. Since the since it was bending in this direction, the slab was bending in this direction, because along the longer direction it was bending. That is why we are going to place the reinforcement parallel to that. That is why you can see the lines in this way. Now instead of keeping the longer direction parallel to that, now I'm going to keep my shorter direction. Now I'll keep my slab in this way, right? I'm going to keep my slab in this way. Now what is happening? See, now this is my longer direction, this is my longer direction, and this is my shorter direction, right? You can see it, you can observe it you can observe it carefully. This is my shorter direction and this is my longer direction. But look at in which way the slab is bending. Again the slab is bending in this way, right? Again the slab is bending here, you can observe it, right? Yeah. So this is how my slab is going to bend, right? This is how my slab is going to bend. So now the bending is happening on the shorter direction, whereas if I taken the previous case, yeah, I'll keep it here. In the previous case, the slab was bending in the longer direction. This was my longer direction, it was bending in this way, right? But whereas in this case the slab is bending in the shorter direction and it is not bending in the longer direction. Now what I'm going to do, since it is bending in the shorter direction, again with the same logic, what I'm going to do, I'm going to place my reinforcement parallel to that. So this is how I'm going to place my reinforcement. These are the main reinforcement again. All these are the main reinforcement again. So all these are the main reinforcement. So this will help if the slab is going to bend in this way. Yeah, if the slab will bend in this way, what I'm going to do, I'm going to place this reinforcement which is parallel to that bending. So as a result of that, what will happen? This bending will be stopped. Yeah. As a result of that, this bending will stop. Yeah, as a result of that, this bending will stop. So again, I have to provide another bar. This is called as again distribution bar in this direction. This is again called a distribution bar in this direction, distribution bar in this direction, and distribution bar in this direction. As I already mentioned you, these bars are not going to take any load. They are given from temperature and shrinkage point of view to reduce the cracks in your slab. Yeah, this was all about one-way slab. So far what we discussed was only about one-way slab. Next we'll try to see what is two-way slab and practically how it is given. Yeah, now what you can see, let us consider, yeah, so let us consider this as a one-way slab. So this is a one-way slab. By looking at it, we can identify that this is a, yeah. So by looking at this, we can identify this has a one-way slab because this is a longer direction and this is a shorter direction. So as a result of that, just by looking at it, we can identify this as a one-way slab. So here the slab is supported on two support. Let us say this is one support and this is second support, right? So let us consider this as Lx, that is shorter direction, and let us consider this as Ly, which is a longer direction. So whereas Ly is a longer direction span and Lx is a shorter direction span. So how the slab is going to bend? The slab is going to bend in this direction, right? So slab is going to bend in this direction because, yeah. So the slab is going to bend in this direction as we saw now, right? Whereas in this direction, the slab is not going to bend since this support is going to stop it from bending. So this slab can bend only in this direction. That is why you can see the reinforcement provided parallel to that direction. That is along the Ly direction, which is a longer direction span. You can see the blue mark, right? I mean the blue line. They all are the reinforcement what we are providing to stop that bending. In the same way, let us consider one more slab. Again, it is a one-way slab since it is supported on two support. This is my one support and this is my second support. Now what is going to happen? Now again, the slab is going to bend. Yeah, again, this is Lx. This is Lx, which is a shorter span. And again, this is Ly, which is a longer direction span. Now, how the slab is going to bend? Again, the slab is going to bend in this direction, right? Whereas the slab is not going to bend in this direction. The reason is that this support and this support is going to stop it. So this bending will not happen. So this bending will not happen. So only this bending will happen. Since this bending is happening, we have to provide reinforcement bar, that is rebar, parallel to that direction. That is why you can see this blue color lines, right? They are the rebar which are provided to stop that bending. Now the important thing is that here the bending is in Lx direction, whereas Lx is my shorter direction span. Whereas here the bending was in Ly direction, where Ly is my longer direction span. So as we already discussed that if it is a one-way slab resting on two support, the bending can be on a shorter direction or it can be on the longer direction. It depends on which way the slab is supported. Yeah, yeah. We'll try to go ahead again. So these are the main bars what I explained you now. So the blue one, all these are the main bar. Whereas, yeah, this is how it happens. I'll try to erase this. Yeah, you can see the bending, right? So you can see the bending, right? So this is how my slab is going to bend in this direction. Same thing is going to happen. The slab is going to bend in this direction. That is why we have given the rebar parallel to that direction. Same thing we have given the rebar parallel to this direction. And the one which you can see yellow in color, these are called as distribution bar. The one which you can see yellow in color, they are called as distribution bar. They're not going to carry any load. They're given from temperature and shrinkage point of view so that the cracks do not arise in the slab. So these are called as distribution bar. So we are already seen this through an example, right? So this is how it looks. So let us say this is one support and this is second support, and on this particular support this slab is rested. Now you can easily identify that this slab is going to bend in this direction, whereas in this direction, yeah, so this slab is going to bend in this direction, right? Whereas in this direction, that bending will not happen, since this brickwork is going to support it. And same thing on the other side, there's no bending on the other side in this way, because this two support, the support 1 and support 2 is going to stop it. So this slab can bend only in this direction. That is why you can see the bar provided here, right? The one which is black in color. Yeah, so these are the main bars. These are going to stop that bending. Whereas the bar, what you can see on the other side, these bars, what you can see, they are called as distribution bar. They are given from temperature and shrinkage point of view. I hope it's understood up to here. Yeah, moving forward. So far, what we discussed was only about the slab which is rested on two support. But when I explained you about the one-way slab, we understood that there are two cases. So far, what we discussed was only case one. Now we'll try to see what is case two. So the case two is that when a slab is supported on all four beams, right? Now let us say this is my slab and it is supported on all four beams. This is beam 1, beam 2, and this is beam 3, and this is beam 4. We'll try to see that. Yeah, this is my beam 1, this is my beam 2, this is my beam 3, and this is my beam 4. And let us say this is my LX direction, that is a shorter direction, and this is my LY direction, it is a longer direction. It's understood by looking at the slab, it's understood that this is a shorter direction and this is my longer direction. So now what will happen? This slab is going to bend in which direction? Always when the slab is supported on all four edges, we understood that the slab is going to bend always on the shorter along the shorter span. Now LX is my shorter span and LY is my longer span, right? So that is why this slab is going to bend in this direction, that is on the along the shorter direction. Yeah, I'll try to make use of a pen here. So this slab is going to bend in this direction. So that is why I'm going to provide my rebar parallel to that in the shorter direction. This is my first rebar, then comes my second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So this is how I'm going to place all my reinforcement bar. So in the same way, on the other direction, I need to provide my, these are called as, yeah, I'll try to erase this. Yeah, so these are called as main steel in the X direction. These are called as main steel in the X direction. We call this as area of steel in the X direction, which is called as positive reinforcement. So, and what about this bar? These are my distribution bar. All these are the distribution bar which are provided on the along the LY direction on the longer span. These are the distribution bar, distribution bar or distribution steel along the Y direction. So this is how it is. If the slab is supported on all four edges, this is beam 1, beam 2, beam 3, and beam 4, then the slab is always going to bend along the shorter span. That is why we are providing the bar along the shorter span, that is called as main bar, the one which is orange. Let us say, yeah, this is orange in color. So that is called as area of steel in X direction, that is positive reinforcement. Whereas the black color bar, the black color line, what you can see, they are called as distribution bar, which is provided in the Y direction. Yeah, so this is how it looks finally. Yeah, so we'll try to understand this. Yeah, so yeah, we'll start from a fresh. Let us consider this as a slab. Now, by looking at this slab, it's understood that again it is a one-way slab, right? Because it is supported on all four edges, and this is my LY direction, and this is my LX direction. And we know that if LY by LX, if it is greater than 2, then it is a, if it is a, yeah, if it is greater than 2, then we call this as a one way slab, right? So compared to this LX direction, LY direction is long. So by looking at this particular slab, it's understood that it's a one way slab. So how this slab is going to bend? Again, as we understood that if a slab is supported on all four edges, then always the bending is going to happen on along the shorter direction. So here LX is a shorter direction. So that is why what will happen? The bending will happen only in the LX direction. So this is how the bending is going to happen, right? So this is how the bending is going to happen. Let us consider all this as a simply supported. So this is how a bending is going to happen. You'll get a maximum bending moment at the center, that is WL square by 8, whereas near the support you'll have a zero bending moment. So this is how it's going to behave. So now I'll consider this as a cutoff point. Let us consider the red line. What you can see is a cutoff line. So what you can understand by this, see, uh, yeah. So we can see that the bending moment is maximum here, right? But as it keeps on going towards the support, what is happening? The bending moment is reducing, 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 and it is almost zero here, right? In the same way, you can see here the bending moment is maximum here. From here, the bending moment keeps on decreasing, 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 and the moment it reaches the simply supported end, what will happen? The bending moment is zero. So what I've done, I've taken a cutoff point here, and also I've taken a cutoff point here. So we'll try to understand the logic behind this. Yeah. So just concentrate on what I'm telling. So the bending moment is maximum at the center. We have understood that. So this bending moment is maximum at the center. So what will happen if bending moment is more? What will happen if bending moment is more steel is required, right? If bending moment is more, I'll try to write down it here. Yeah, if bending moment is high, let us say it is more, then I require more area of steel, right? Then I require more area of steel, right? In the same way, yeah, just that's it. Just concentrate here. More steel is required. In the same way, come here near the support, right? This is my support now. So again, this is my support now. So near the support, bending moment is less, right? You can see here, right? The bending moment is decreasing, decreasing, and it will reach to zero here. Same thing near the support. What is happening? The bending moment is less, and it's almost zero near the support. So near the support, if bending moment is less steel is required, right? If again, this we have seen from structure analysis subjects and all, right? If the bending moment is less, what will happen? You require less area of steel, right? Area of steel, ast I am going to write. I require less area of steel. That is why what I've tried to do. Yeah, I hope it's understood up to here. I'll to discard it here. So what I'm going to do, so again the bar will be placed in the shorter direction. Along the shorter direction we have to place the bar. So this first bar I'm placing along the shorter direction. So next bar I'm not going to take it full. I'm just going to stop it up to this distance. What is the cutoff point, right? This is a red color. What is a cutoff point? I'm going to stop my bar only up to this distance. Again the next bar will go full. Again the next bar will stop up to this distance. Again this will go full. Again half. Again this bar will go full throughout. Again this bar will stop up at this point. Again the same thing will continue till we reach here, right? So this is how the bar is put. So we'll try to understand the logic behind this. So what is happening? You can just concentrate on the support. See this red line and this red line. So inside this, whatever is there, the bending moment is maximum. So this is my center of the span. So that is why near the center, what is happening? Let us say the spacing between this orange and the blue bar is 100 mm center to center, and I'm using a 10 diameter bar. Let us say this diameter of the bar is 10, and this center to center, center to center, center to center distance is 100 mm. So you can observe it here, right? So I'm making use of 10 diameter bar. The both, I mean, the orange as well as the blue color, they are 10 diameter bar, and the spacing between these two bar is 100 mm center to center spacing. C to C stands for center to center. 100 mm comes out to be 4 inches. So let us say the distance between them is 4-inch center to center spacing, or let us say 100 mm center to center spacing. That is why what I've written here, yeah, we'll come back to this. The bending moment is maximum at the center. So if the bending moment is maximum, what will happen? We require more steel, right? So and more steel can be provided by giving lesser spacing. That is why hence the bars are placed at 100 mm center to center distance. So I'm going to place 100 mm center to center distance, and let us say I'm using 10 mm bar. So again, this 100 mm spacing and 10 mm bar, it depends how we are going to design it. As of now, we'll not try to get into the design side. We are just seeing how these bars are put up. So again, it depends what is a dead load coming on your slab, what is a live load coming on your slab. Based on that, we do the calculation, and after that we get the answer. And let us say from the analysis, you can make use of ETABS or STAAD software, or even with the help of Excel sheet, MS Excel sheet, we can do all this calculation. And from that calculation, let us say this is the answer what I've got, that in this particular slab you need to provide 10 diameter bar at 100 mm center to center spacing near the support, right? Now we'll come to the bars which are near the support. These are the bar which has gone throughout. So these are the bar which are near the support. Now this is my cutoff point. So what has happened here? So here I'm going to place again 10 diameter bar itself, but this time I'm increasing the spacing to 200 center to center spacing. Near the span, I mean at the center position, what is happening? At the center portion, what is happening? I'm providing 10 diameter bar, but center to center distance of all this bar was 100 center to center spacing. Whereas near the support, you can see this bar, right? The orange and this orange bar. So this distance is 200 So I'm making use of 10 diameter bar itself, but the spacing is 200 center to center spacing. So now come here. So this is near the support, right? This particular bar, it's almost close to the support. Again, this orange color bar, this much portion from the red line to this portion, from red line to this portion, all these are near the center of the near the support of the beam. So that is why what is happening, bending moment is less here. Here also bending moment is less. So near the support, bending moment is less, so less steel is required because moment will be less. If bending moment is less steel is required. Hence what we are going to do, we are going to place the bar at the more spacing. If I'm going to place my bar at more spacing, what will happen? Less number of steel will be obtained. That is why you can see near the support there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 bar, right? Both side. Whereas near the center, what will happen? You will get 16 bar because you are keeping at 100 right? We'll try to count it. See, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There should one more bar should have come here. It's fine. So what will happen? In the center, you are going to get 16 bars, whereas near the support, you are going to get 8 number of bars. Since you are increasing the spacing here, so you are going to get less number of the bar. So this is what we are doing technically, because we have understood the concept. Since we have understood the concept, we know that bending moment is less near the support. If bending moment is less steel is required. So that is why what we try to do, we have made this structure, we have made this slab safe by providing 10 diameter 100 spacing at the center, and by providing 10 diameter 200 near the support. Right. Now again, second thing is we need to make this particular slab economical, right? See, if I don't want to provide it at 200, I can run this bar throughout. Let me tell you. Yeah, if I don't want to cut off it here, no, I can take it completely. Nothing is going to happen. If I can take it completely, no one is going to stop me from doing all these things. No one is going to stop me. But what will happen, since we know from technically we know that the bending moment is less. If the bending moment itself is less, there's no point in giving this extra steel here, because this steel what you're providing, right, that is enough to take care of the moment that is coming here. That is safe enough to take care of the moment that is coming in the near the support. So you don't have to run this bar, the blue bar, completely. You don't have to run it completely. So what will happen, you are actually saving the steel, right? So we are making the structure safe. The first thing is that I'm making my structure safe. Once I have made my structure safe, the second thing is I have to make it economical, right? So that more cost is not involved, and no excess steel is used. So that is why what we do as engineers, what we do, we try to curtail this bar. So this is called as curtailment of the bar, and here we are going to increase the spacing. I hope it's understood up to here. So yeah, I'll try to discard it. So this is how it looks. Now the question comes is that what is this curtailment length, right? So I told you that you have to curtail up to here. I mean, you have to stop your bar up to here. So but what is the distance from here to here? What is the distance from here to here? What is that curtailment length? That is those things we can see from IS 456 2000 code book. If you go to the annexure D, it is mentioned here. Tension reinforcement provided at the mid span. That means that whatever reinforcement you have provided at the mid span, whatever reinforcement you have provided at the mid span, mid span in the middle strip shall extend in the lower part of the slab to within 0.25 of the continuous edge. Right now we are not doing the continuous edge. Let us consider there is no other slab on all the four sides. It is a discontinuous edge. Let us say this is only slab what I have. So in that case, the 0.25 L I'm not going to consider. Mine is all, I mean all this, everywhere it is a discontinuous. You don't have any other slab here, you don't have any other slab here, you don't have any other slab here, you don't have any other slab here. So it is a discontinuous edge. So what the code says that you have to provide 0.15 L of a discontinuous edge. I'll try to read out again. Tension reinforcement provided at a mid span in the middle strip, right? So this is a tension reinforcement I have provided here. So shall extend in the lower part. This is the lower part. I'm showing you the bottom bar. Extend in the lower part of the slab to 0.15 L of a discontinuous edge. So up to here, what will happen? So this distance, what you can see, right? It should be 0.15 into L. So here L is the shorter span. Here L is the shorter span. So what I'm going to do, I have to multiply. Let us say it is like 1 meter. Lx is 1 meter. So 0.15 into 1 comes out to be 1.5 meter. From this support, I'll leave a space of 1.5 meter. From this support, I'm going to leave a space of 1.5 meter, and I'm going to do the curtailment of the bar. So one bar will go full. The next bar will extend only up to this point. From here it will be 1.5 meter. I'm going to give a gap of 1.5 meter, and I'm going to give a 1.5 meter gap from here. So this is, yeah, on the either side, both side we have to do the same thing, right? I hope it's understood up to here. Anyhow, this is not the right way to do. Practically this is not what we do. Practically what we do is we do the cranking of a bar. We'll try to see that in the next lecture. We'll see you back in the next lecture. Thank you.